Hey, what's up guys? This is Anthony from Anthony's Customs, and for this review we're going to be looking at the Play Arts Kai Halo 4 Blue Spartan Warrior. This is one of my favorite figures of the year, if not of all time. It's absolutely gorgeous in my opinion. I think if you're a Halo fan, this is a must-have. If you can afford it at all, get it. It's a great figure. You'll hear a lot of people say that Play Arts figures have bad proportions and their joints are too obvious. I personally think that on these Halo figures, these Halo 4 ones, those people are crazy. Are there some issues? Sure, but it doesn't get much better than this. He stands 9.5 inches tall, pretty good size. As far as accessories go, he's got the pistol, detailed excellently, looks perfect. Does have a weapons peg hole that can go into his thigh there or there. If it goes there, it's going to be backwards because it's meant for this side, but you can do it. And then, of course, he's got the peg hole in the back too, and that's because he's got the battle rifle, which is also done excellently. Really no problems there. Super awesome for the weapons. He's got 2 trigger hands. Sorry, where'd it go? Oh, it's on him. He's got one for his left hand, obviously, one for his right. The detail, paint, and sculpt on that is perfect. They hold the guns really well, and they're soft enough plastic that you can get the guns in fairly easily. I do recommend you pop the hand off to do that, which is easy enough because the new peg design comes off very easily if you want it to. It won't just pop off, and you can swap out the hands. And he's got 2 open hands, which are closed just enough to where if you wanted to, you could have him hold the weapons in these hands if you use 2 hands or kind of wedge it on there. But they are open. I don't really know why they did that. They're too similar to the trigger hands, I think. Maybe a fist would have been cool, at least on one side. And they have a peg hole in them. The trigger hands do not. These do. I don't know why. Maybe they're going to reuse these and give somebody a grenade at some point. I don't know. But as far as I know now, there's no use for that peg hole in that left hand. I haven't figured it out. Maybe I'm missing something. If anybody else knows, let me know, but I don't know. Either way, he's got 2 of the open hands, which are done excellently. Alright, let's talk about the paint. The paint on this guy is 100% awesome. The blue is such a cool metallic. It looks really, really nice. Same with the silver. Just looks great. The black has just a hint of metallic in it, so it looks really, really nice. There's a little dry brushing, as you can see, throughout the figure to give it a kind of a worn look. You can see that on the feet a little bit more. It just looks absolutely great. The visor has a nice kind of metallic, reflective, pearlescent look to it, which I think is pretty accurate. So the paint, I have absolutely no qualms with the paint, no problem at all. The sculpt, I'm going to go with just about perfect. Like I said, some people are complaining about the joints and stuff. The shoulders are a little bit bulbous, but that is more so to fill out because they made the chest just a tiny bit narrow so that you could move the arms around and get them in some poses that would be more accurate to the game. Whereas if they filled out the chest, the arms wouldn't be able to come around, and if the shoulders were smaller, they wouldn't be able to come around either. So you have to give them some leeway, and once you get them posed, it looks just about perfect. So sculpt, I think I have no complaints. Some people are saying the thighs are too big. If you look at the game, the Spartans have big legs, and I don't think they even look particularly large. For me, they look the way they're supposed to. I mean, that looks right to me. If you go look at the McFarlane 12-inch Master Chief, his proportions were way off compared to this, and I think these Spartans have more of this type of build than he did back then. So, I don't know. I think some people are just being picky to be picky, but I'm particularly happy with this figure. We're getting a lot of comments, or I'm getting some comments saying that the wrists are too long and the elbows don't look right. It has articulation. What are you going to do? But I think it's more than acceptable in order to have the articulation. I'd rather it be there than not, and it doesn't look particularly bad, I don't think. So let's talk about the articulation. In particular, the head is on a double ball peg, pretty good range of motion. It is going to be limited by the armor to a degree, but really the only limitation is going backwards. He cannot look up very far, but he can look down a little bit and side to side as much as you want. The shoulders are on that butterfly joint that let the arms come around, so he can hold his guns or do whatever you want, no problem at all. The joint doesn't look awkward. He's got the ball hinge at the top, on top of that butterfly joint, with a bicep swivel there also. The elbows are standard Play Art Sky, where they swivel at the top and bottom and ratchet, so you'll have any range of motion you want there. And as soon as you pose it, that ball joint kind of disappears, so you won't have too much trouble like people are saying with the joints being visible. The wrist is the same joint, it's just a little bit smaller. That allows for all kinds of range of motion in the hand. Anything you need to do, you'll be able to get it done. So again, I'm perfectly happy with that. The upper torso is on a double ball peg, so it has a huge range of motion. Really, anything you want to do, you can do. You can tuck him all the way down. Great range of motion. Of course, once you do that, you can see inside a little bit on the back, but as you can see, it's just really good range of motion. Anything you want to do. Same thing for the lower torso. It's on a ball peg. Same ball peg that goes up into the torso and then into each hip. It's a three-way. So full range of motion there. The floating hip piece allows for the legs to move. They are ratcheted side to side and front to back. They're kind of stiff, so be careful with them, but they do work. And then of course they have the thigh swivel on that as well. So really good range of motion, really good articulation. The knees have kneecaps, which has been a problem with some of the Play Arts figures, and so they work particularly well. Even when you fully extend them, they don't look as bad as some of the other figures have, and especially if you only use the one joint, they look just fine. So I am perfectly okay with that articulation there. The ankles are the same as the wrists and elbows, so full range of motion. I do wish you could bring the foot up a little bit more, and I think a toe joint would have helped, but it's not there, so range of motion could be a little better front and back, but you do have the ability to rotate them side to side and get the foot to do that. So you can put them in some cool poses, no problem. Again, I don't get why Play Arts is putting this type of joint on there. It's redundant with the ankle the way it is, but it is there as well. So pretty good range of motion everywhere. I think these really couldn't have been any better. If they made the shoulders smaller and the chest wider, it would have inhibited some of the more traditional poses for the Spartans where he's holding the gun forward. So I don't really understand what people are complaining about. This isn't the right hand for holding the weapon, but I'll use it anyways to show you. You are able to get the gun into his arm the way he would be holding it in the game fairly easily due to the articulation. Again, it's not the right hand, so I can't do it as well, but you can get it pretty much accurate. And then that is because of the articulation and the narrower chest. So I'm perfectly happy with that. Again, he holds it fine. That's just not the right hand for it. So I have no complaints. A couple issues, like I said, with the ankle articulation, but really absolutely great figures. I couldn't be happier with these Halo 4 figures, so I'm going to do the Master Chief one also, so check out that review. And do go out and buy this. If you're a Halo fan or just a fan of awesome figures, this is definitely one to get. Highly recommended. One cool thing to point out about these new Halo figures is that they're coming with new stands from Play Arts. Now these stands come on a sleeve inside the packaging, so some people, I don't think they know that this part comes out. They're kind of afraid to take it out. Me personally, I don't think they even need the stand because they can stand perfectly well on their own. So I'm not going to open mine yet just because I don't need to. But you can just slice this open and shove it back in if you want to. And the blister that holds the figure is all black, so you wouldn't be able to see through if you did tear this off. But it's got the instructions for the figure on the inside here, and the instructions for the stand. So you can see what it kind of looks like there. You can adjust the height and angle and all that kind of stuff. Different parts, different size grabbers. So it's got a really cool stand that it comes with too, so that's a very nice addition to the Play Arts figures. Like I said, personally, I don't need it. I'm not going to put them in any flight poses or anything, so I'm fine without it. So I'm going to leave it sealed up. But if you want to, it's in there. Don't forget to take it out, or at least be aware that it's in there. So there it is. Thanks for watching, guys. Stay tuned for the other figures and other good stuff. More reviews, customs, all that kind of thing. So stay tuned for that. And in the meantime, keep collecting.